For the past few weeks, John Mulaney has been trying things his own way with his new Netflix series, Everybody's Life with John Mulaney. Lewis and I have finally tuned in, so we're going to discuss whether Mulaney is adding anything to the comedy landscape or if he's missing the mark.
Fuck him. No, I'm kidding. It's good. Uh, the first thing I love about this show is he announces that it's at Sunset and Gower, which is such a nondescript location in LA. And in fact, it's where I like go and eat salad every night after the gym. It's just in the pit of LA, unpretentiously.
Didn't they used to shoot Nickelodeon or something there?
Yes. Several things have been there over the years. I want to say I was on a game show one time. No, that was Sunset in Las Palmas, but same stretch of just bland, like that part of Santa Monica Boulevard and Sunset is like storage spaces. So it's funny to have like a high octane TV series there. But also, I do love about this show that he assigns a topic to each episode, and in the most recent one it was just squatters. So they have to sit there and just talk about squatters the entire time. I love that. I love that they just pick something and news peg it as opposed to having to talk about whatever's happening on the news every single day. Or because somehow over the years we've given everybody the idea that talk shows are here to kind of calm us away from the worst, how bad the news can be. And why? Mm-hmm. There's just no reason for that. Or it can get especially stale after a while. I say that as I just got done writing 10,000 Elon Musk jokes.
He's in space, right?
Right. He loves it up there. And we're going to do our best to keep him up there with his fellow cosmonaut, Katy Perry.
By the way, we will be talking about that next week. I'm just doing that as a brief aside. Like, the ladies are going to space. We're going to talk about it. There's been like one person in our YouTube comments every fucking week being like, when are you going to talk about them going to space? What the fuck do you want us to say? They're not there yet.
There they go. Yeah. We just look up, like in the movie Don't Look Up. We just do that.
Yeah. Obviously, it's fake feminism, like Katie's album. But there's nothing else to say yet.
Also, I enjoy the song Smile by Katy Perry. So sometimes if you want me to get in here and defend the worst of Katy Perry, just to let you know, I may do it. But back to the show. The last episode, he just started with this monologue talking about how he was supposed to book Bone Thugs and Harmony for this comedy bit they were doing and why they fell apart. And at first, it was like, I enjoyed that he was being just straightforward with the audience about something that was happening behind the scenes, on a talk show like this. Then I was like, is this mean to Bone Thugs and Harmony? And then it ended with him realizing he may not have even been talking to the real manager of Bone Thugs and Harmony. And I have to, things like that, I found it entirely refreshing and strange and really unexpected from him, since he's a stand-up, and I expect it just to be kind of clippy jokes that are the same pace as, Dave Letterman or Conan or Kimmel or whomever. And he really took his time, and it didn't feel like too much time. So I think that's an awesome way to handle a talk show.
I think that the talk show too feels, in a way, obviously there's the 80s Hollywood aesthetic of it. I love the sort of the feel that it feels Los Angeles, but like the fun part of Los Angeles that you from the vintage movie era,
yes.
Not the influencer era of Los Angeles, like the kind that's in the movies,
like American Gigolo or something. Yes.
Yeah, mm-hmm. American Gigolo, or that sequel to X. What the fuck was that movie?
Sequel to X. The Mia Goth one.
The Mia Goth series.
Yes, where it's in the 80s. Yes, right.
Yes, in the 80s. It feels a lot like a show that would be a talk show on a sitcom or comedy. Uh-huh. It feels like we'd only see funny clips of him being like, we're going to talk about funeral planning this week, or we're going to talk about cruises, but you actually do get the conversations, which I find interesting. I feel like they're interesting things that you would hear on a comedy podcast more so than you would hear on a talk show. And it's bringing back that weird, fun element of what a talk show can be. I love the cruise episode.
Oh, yeah, me too. Also, I just love, if you watch old episodes of Dick Cavett, or, a number of talk shows like this, but specifically that comes to mind, he'd have, Janis Joplin on, talk with her for 30 minutes, be like, you have about 10 minutes left to live, Janice. And then the next guest would just come on and sit and talk with them all, and it was like Gloria Swanson, like people that have nothing to do with each other. And
that's what I love.
Something
I think we
yes.
talked about that.
Yeah, something specific about this show is nobody is cast just because they have a project coming out. In fact, none of these people had something like that coming out. Like John Waters was there with Wanda Sykes. Great, let's put them together and talk.
Joan Baez.
Joan Baez, who was great on the show and was did a stirring call to action, as Joan Baez would. Honestly, if I had to change one thing, I would get rid of the audience, because the show is so weird on purpose that kind of listening to a conventional talk show audience respond to the comedy beats makes it feel a little strange to me. And I just think having a silence after something completely droll and strange occurs is a little bit funnier.
I think that you and I have definitely talked about this before with talk shows. The missing element of all of the guests of that episode being on the couch together is what I definitely miss from talk shows.
Yeah.
And it seems to have gone away, I guess, with just the scheduling of shooting. And also, I feel like publicists are probably behind that too. You don't want your client sitting here with some other random person, because they could just say anything.
Especially if they're there to promote a project. Does that mean they get less time to talk about the thing they're there to talk about? Obviously somebody we love who handles this really well is Graham Norton. But there's just something about the UK and talking that is so much more advanced. They just will allow themselves to sit and sort of stretch out, and they can count on the natural wit of each other to make the conversation appealing. And we just cannot do that over here.
They go to have fun on Graham Norton too, I mean, they think, this from working on a talk show, and we know this from, interviewing people. This is a talk show.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, you really just cannot get past the whole, this person's here to promote something, so you have to talk about it,
Right. And it's weird because it's you don't want to the people who book it, you don't want to disappoint them. They book all sorts of other people, et cetera. And obviously you want the conversation to go well and be listenable, but and you want to be a part of the business with all these people. But it is a little fraught that way when it's about promoting a project and you want to, tap into the humanity of this person outside of just whatever they just made 10 minutes ago.
That's why you the older talk show moments where it's this person's been on this show multiple times, friends of the family who just seem to celebrities who come on all the time. They're just dropping by.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of that anymore. Recently on the Jimmy Fallon Tonight Show, I was always sort of intrigued by the fact that Fran Lebowitz would come on and be friends with them, because they do not seem like they're part of the same New York, really. But he was. But
she's seen him at the bar.
Yeah. Okay. Perhaps. But they had an interesting rapport there that was unexpected that took me back to, the Amy Sedaris, Dave Letterman, or the Terry Gard, David Letterman. Just actually, who one of the best David Letterman guests of all time is? Julia Roberts. Every time she was on that show, she was like, woof, you won't believe who was an asshole to me the other day. Nick Nolte,
Keep It is brought to you by Monocora. Harvested from the Manuka tree in New Zealand, Monocora honey is rich, creamy, and contains powerful nutrients to support immunity and gut health. Now, this is sounding like a Cadbury egg, the ones the bunny used to leave around at Easter, but it's a lot better for you. It is 3 times more antioxidants and prebiotics than your average honey, and all you need is 1 heaping teaspoon each morning to get the most out of the amazing bioactives in Manuka honey. It's a honey with superpowers. Now listen, I add this stuff into my morning routine all the time. First of all, I'm Beehive, so I love honey. And it just really does taste better when you're mixing it into, I don't know, your protein shake in the morning before you hit the gym. So get up in that honey. Get up in that hive. Now, it's easier than ever to try Monocora honey. Head to monocora.com/keepit to save up to 31% plus $25 worth of free gifts with the starter kit, which comes with an MGO 850 plus, a Manuka honey jar, 5 honey travel sticks, a wooden spoon, and a guidebook. That's monocora.com/keepit to save 31% plus $25 worth of free gifts. That is MANUKORA.com/keepit. Keep It is brought to you by OneSkin. Turning back time is simple with a little bit of movie magic, because when it comes to real life, getting our skin and hair to rewind 20 years isn't so easy. Plenty of products promise holy grail results, but with OneSkin, the proof is in the peptide. Yes, I'm talking about making your body look good. That's what OneSkin is. Specifically, the OS1 peptide, OneSkin's proprietary ingredient that targets zombie cells, aka cells that speed up aging at the cellular level. You can only find OS1 in OneSkin's moisturizers, sunscreens, and now in their latest product, OS1 Hair. This daily scalp serum tackles those same zombie cells in your hair follicles to reactivate your natural growth cycle. Now, if you know me, you know I'm all about my hair follicles. Louis isn't here, but he does need to use it, and he loves using it. You can ask him. So if you're dealing with hair loss, thinning or shedding, or if you just want thicker, denser hair, try OS1 Hair or any of OneSkin's products with 15% off your first purchase. Use code KEEPIT at oneskin.co. I really do love OneSkin because it keeps the skin glowing. And listen, these zombie cells that affect your face, white listeners, you might want to worry about those a little bit more than me. So hit up OneSkin and you can be glowing too. Founded and led by an all-woman team of skin longevity scientists, OneSkin is redefining the aging process with their proprietary OS1 peptide. Get 15% off with code KEEPIT at oneskin.co. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code KEEPIT. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our damn show and tell them we sent you. Invest in the health and longevity of your skin and scalp with OneSkin. Your future self will thank you. That's another thing where that podcasts are sort of taken away from people. Obviously, now people go on podcasts to promote things, but there are a lot of fun celebrity podcasts or even just comedians doing podcasts, or like our early days of when we were doing this, right? And you just have friends stop by. They're not promoting anything. They're just talking. And I think that is what people miss about talk shows in general. It's what you miss in the industry that would create stars, to be honest. Because if everyone is just coming there to talk about their fucking project, people zone that out a lot, They're like, okay, either I'm going to go see it or not. But what they remember is the personality. They remember Julia Roberts coming on and being angry about something. I think your show, Kimmel, still sort of has that element whenever Matt Damon comes on.
All right. We're still writing jokes about that. Yeah, like things like that. Most talk shows have the benefit of being on for like years and years too, so you can like harken back to old versions of the show, change it as you will, but it's like still very dependable. But you're right. Like the meat of the conversations on these shows, I think, has the greatest potential to change and be more interesting. Even though, by the way, on this show, like John Mulaney as a conversation proctor, he's pretty, while he's funny, he's not particularly speedy. Like Graham Norton will like get you to a joke fast, like throwing it down. Like he makes it a little bit urgent. There's something about gayness that really lubricates that conversation. Whereas on his show, I'm sort of fascinated that he'll leave things a little bit awkward. I don't know if I like personally living in that space as a viewer, but I do think it makes it an interesting feel. There's almost something kind of Nathan Fielder about how he approaches it.
Yes, I honestly, that would be a fun talk show.
Well, he is so frightening.
His version of a talk show, he is terrifying.
The haircut alone, first of all, and then secondly, how he operates. He's like really cool and with it. Like, Emma Stone's obsessed with him. She's like weirdly a person I really trust in this space. If Emma Stone's producing your thing, I'm on board with you. But like he has that kind of creepy, what is on his mind energy, even as he sort of is staring you straight in the eye, kind of boring holes in you.
What I really enjoy about this too is it says it's promoted as a live Netflix comedy show. And I think Jay was talking about this a lot last week too, with just needing to stop giving bad Netflix specials to unfunny people and just sort of really just branch out into different avenues of comedy and build up a comedy repertoire for Netflix. I feel like there used to be more funny things that I'd want to watch on Netflix, and now it's just sort of Secret Millionaire.
Right. By the way, you know what else could stand to be revamped? The idea of a comedy special. We've had a couple of things over the years, like Rothaniel or, things that mix it up a little bit that have interstitials that are strange. But ultimately, like, Nothing surprises me more. Growing up, I really thought stand-up would be the bread and butter of what I did. Like that would be the format in which I presented jokes, etc. And now I just don't crave it as much. And I think people.
I want to see your comedy special.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm just gonna like take people through like a gallery of like golden age Hollywood stars and explain them to you. By the way, when I was in Berlin, I stayed in Marlene Dietrich Platz. Brought that up to everybody I met.
Do they have a gorilla suit there?
Oh, that would. I wish I came out with like the top with the the Madonna top hat and like tails every time I went out. Yeah. That would have been sweet. And of course, Tyrone Power is my background on my phone, and of course, he was in his final movie with Marlena, Witness for the Prosecution, which I've talked about in every fucking YouTube video I've ever done for Crooked. So look it up.
Yeah, that gorilla scene, by the way. I mean, speaking of Batman, remember the Poison Ivy scene where Uma Thurman came out, paying homage to the Marlena Dietrich scene.
Yes.
And then remember when Taraji Henson did that on Empire?
No, I did not see that. Excuse me?
that season 2 of Empire. Wow. Taking it really back because the first season of that show was so good and then it dropped off so quickly. But season 2 of Empire starts with, of course, a Black Lives Matter protest because the Black show had to do that.
Right. And putting me the exact moment in time. Here we are.
Taraji P. Henson in a gorilla costume, beating her chest, doing the Marlena Dietrich, revealing herself under it. Crazy.
Thank you, Empire. I can only be thankful for that. Yeah. Marlena Dietrich is a name that like people don't know anymore. So I'll take any sort of like Renaissance we have,
She's in the Vogue song, though, right?
Yes. No, I would say if people know her through anything, it is the Vogue music video, which is mainly a tribute to old Marlena Dietrich photo shoots. But she's, if you haven't seen her in Morocco, her nominated movie, really good. Mark Harris was talking about that recently. It's a really good movie from 1930, pre-code.
Speaking of pre-code, I just want to say quickly, we've gone on so many tangents.
Yeah, sorry. John Mulaney, about it. Yes.
We're going to talk about it in a few weeks when we have our theater preview again and talk about what's out there. But I'm wearing a Betty Boop shirt. I saw Boop on Broadway.
So fucking jealous.
It is so fucking funny.
Oh, thank God. First of all,
the book is hilarious.
Betty Boop, bend that bitch. I don't know if people are unfamiliar. You watch the cartoons, you're cooking right there with her. Like
yeah.
You follow her on the journey, which she always has.
And some of those were pre-code, so they're a little racy.
Right. I already talked about Nancy comics recently, right?
Yes, you did talk about Nancy
I'm still on the Nancy tip. Nancy and Sluggo and I, we were vibing.
Nancy the musical, coming soon.
Oh, my God. She'll be pissed. It'll be like Mama Rose shit.
Anyway, John Mulaney, I really enjoy this show. I think that Netflix is doing something fun here by having a talk show that is just a little strange. It's a little weird. And I think that they should make more of those because they have the money for it.
Also, Richard Kind is on it, and they really just picked the strangest celebrity we have.
I missed him on TV.
Spin City was a good show. That was like one of the last like hard punchline multicams that I really enjoyed.
Yes, the whole Spin City news radio era of comedy is
working with Fred Savage. Loved that show.
Yeah, I forget that Richard Kind was obviously on Curb Your Enthusiasm for years.
Right,
but yeah, it felt like I haven't seen him on TV in forever.
No,
it's just nice seeing him. This podcast is sponsored by Squarespace. With Squarespace's collection of cutting-edge design tools, anyone can build a bespoke online presence that perfectly fits their brand or business, just like I did with IraMadison.com, the most beautiful website Squarespace has ever powered. Start with a Blueprint AI, Squarespace's AI-enhanced website builder, to get a fully custom website in just a few steps. Using basic information about your industry goals and personality to generate premium quality content and personalized design recommendations. Squarespace also offers a complete library of professionally designed and award-winning website templates with options for every use and category. Squarespace also gives you everything you need to offer services and get paid, all in one place. From consultations to events and experiences, showcase your offerings with a customizable website designed to attract clients and grow your business. Plus, streamline your workflow with built-in appointment scheduling and email marketing tools. And when it's time to grow your brand, get discovered fast with integrated Squarespace SEO tools. Every website is optimized to be indexed with meta descriptions, an auto-generated sitemap, and more. So you show up more often on search engines and bring in more of your ideal customers. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/keepit to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com/keepit. And we are back with our favorite segment of the episode. It's Keep It. Louis.
Yes. Actually, Ira, you go first this week. I'm still back from Berlin. I'm disoriented. I'm sleeping like 10 and a half hours a night. Up is down. Make it easy
Poppers aren't banned there.
No,
I get it.
They sure aren't. That became my favorite food.
My Keep It this week goes to Bravo and the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Oh, when they do, it's a bad week for you when these people are doing you dirty, because this is your community, as we say.
Yeah, we're a family, like a giant tree.
Yep. Okay.
We're the Dream Girls.
Yeah.
But this week...
But you're Shirley Ralphing this week. Why?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this week was a nightmare, girl.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm there. Go ahead.
So this is the week that Kenya Moore, icon of Bravo, she's been on Housewives for years. She left the series this week in a very traumatic episode for viewers if you're a fan of her. Backstory, this season, Britt Eady, a new housewife, joined the series. And she used to date Rick Ross. Now she's dating a light-skinned man who's kind to her and lets her eat lobster tails for dinner and lunch. It's a thing.
Okay.
She started a beef with Kenya this season over the fact that Kenya made a reference to a ring that she was wearing. Just because she's asking about her marriage, she's asking about her ring, she's commenting on her ring. It's maybe a light, shady joke. It's maybe a question. They keep flashing back to this as if this is the reason for a beef, but really, this woman just sort of was clearly going after Kenya this season to start a storyline.
Sure.
Anyway, they get into an argument over the course of the season. And last week, during their fight, when Kenya told her, I don't speak to peasants, etc., Britt says, maybe you shouldn't play with me, because I got pistols.
Okay. Good reason not to mess with somebody, to be honest.
Good reason not to mess with somebody. The next week, Kenya responded, unfortunately, by using the launch of her hair spa to show photos of, a sex tape that Britt had made in the past.
Interesting promotional technique.
Yeah. Interesting to do it at the launch of your own new company, especially one that you've dedicated to your daughter. I was very mad at Kenya for doing this. I was very mad at Bravo for not sort of reprimanding and kicking Britt off in the first place for threatening someone with a gun. I think that there's just a lot of mess that's going on here, and the fandom is in turmoil.
And yeah, where do we go from here? I say this as somebody who will never, ever watch this show. Go ahead.
I mean, Kenya sort of ruined this herself. It was just disappointing to see her go out like that. I guess my Keep It is mostly to her, because I feel like you've been in situations like this before. You knew that doing what could technically be considered revenge porn is going to get you kicked off the show, at least for the season.
Also, what do you mean technically revenge porn? It is revenge porn.
Yes. Well, I think that there's a legal thing that's going to be fought. If it was widely available, is it revenge porn? If you just reprinted it.
Oh, I see. Okay. Sometimes I'm reminded that I'm not a lawyer. Sometimes I don't know, or I forget,
Well, I've got Patty Hughes on speed dial.
Oh, my God. Oh, speaking of Patty Hughes, Guy Branum, a friend of Keep It, who's been on many times, was on regular Jeopardy as a contestant. And he got second place. He did nothing wrong. He was great. There was just a guy who beat him a couple times to the buzzer. But there was a question about damages. Namely, the answer was, who was Glenn Close? To watch Guy get beaten to the buzzer on that. More emotional than the entire White Lotus finale. It was so sad to see that. He did
Brian
get in
Gay?
No, I don't think so. He
Wow.
did get in on a Barbra Streisand question, at which point he actually winked at Ken. Good. That's what I want to see. Thank you.
I'm glad he got a little wink in, because I've interacted with a lot of Jeopardy gays recently for some reason, not just on the floor. I've interacted with some other Jeopardy gays, just IRL.
Yeah, they're around.
And a lot of them got beef with you.
Me, Lewis? Oh,
yes.
Why?
Because a lot of these Jeopardy gays
because of iconography? Because of being a part of Yes, go ahead.
A lot of these Jeopardy gays have won the game.
Which I consider tacky. Yeah.
No one remembers them. In one of their words, no one remembers me because I didn't do a snap.
Oh, is that so? Maybe you should have thought of that as I sit here like Marlena Dietrich looking absolutely fresh on television.
And I did say, well, it is a TV show.
Yeah, right. Nothing was stopping you. And I just want to say, by the way, some queens have gone on since, and they've tried to do it. Baby, good try. In the words of Alex Trebek, sorry.
People have tried to snap?
Or they'll like do a little move or something, and it's just like, guys, I can't explain this rhythm. I got it, okay?
I also learned there's like a Jeopardy gay like Facebook group.
Oh, yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, they're all in there. One of them in there is a traitor.
Oh,
Lewis.
Yeah, coming for you or coming for me through them?
Good for you, yeah.
Wow, I would love for them to get started on tarnishing my legacy. It's flawless and platinum-like still. Thanks.
You'd think pop culture Jeopardy would be this, but I'm like, can we have some sort of competition where just all like a quelling, like in the Hunger Games, where all the Jeopardy gays are back?
Yeah.
Jeopardy Gay All-Stars.
Right. I also sincerely want there to be a trivia show that just gets as niche as possible. Like, people know all sorts of insane things. That should be tested in some way. But anyway, I'm so glad this conversation about the Real Housewives of Atlanta turned into a Jeopardy conversation, as I planned. Anyway.
I mean, what do you want to talk about? Revenge porn more?
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't have a salon.com essay in me about that. Sorry. My keep it this week. So on the way back from Berlin, which was a wonderful time, truly a wonderful time. If you've not been to Berlin, it's a spectacular international city. I watched, the best thing about an international flight is you watch 10 movies. So I had never seen About Schmidt, which is I think the only Alexander Payne movie I had not seen. Really good. Jack Nicholson, I think a little, not quite dim-witted enough to play the character. The casting to me on that was a little strange. Kathy Bates is great. Hope Davis, what happened to her? She was great. But my keep it is to people who get into fights about the greatest movie series of all time. In particular, my friend Andy Herron, who I know is listening right now, so I can say this.
Scream.
He will pick Scream. Bitch, you are fucking crazy if you think the best movie series of all time is anything but the Before trilogy. That is the best movie series of all time. I only had time to watch the first one before Sunrise, which I think is probably considered on a Metacritic scale the worst of the three, since Before Sunset I think is the one people think is the best, and then the last one, Before Midnight, they're married and a whole bunch of other problems they're dealing with are super interesting. These movies are just unbelievable, and to be honest, I don't understand how Julie Delpy has remained this underrated. She co-wrote two of the later movies. She is entrancing in this film as an immediately believable character, and Ethan Hawke is, of course, fabulous, too, and I love how he kind of seduces her off the train at the beginning of the movie. It's a really great scene. But she also wrote other movies, like, is it 2 Days in New York and whatever? Like, awesome. Just like, really great material, and there's no movies like these, which really surprises me. Because, you would think we would just get more movies about great conversations that are a movie length long, and there are a couple, like My Dinner with Andre from the early 80s. This is so much better than My Dinner with Andre, which is insistent upon its own intelligence. Whereas this, it's like two people who realize in their connection how much experience in their lives now matters even more because they get to share it with this person. I just think it is like a spiritually moving and rad. And like in my social life, I'm in it for these types of interactions of like meeting somebody and just like figuring it out, whether or not it's romantic, and just like solving it with like intense, interested conversations. And so I just can't imagine saying any other movie series is as good as this.
Okay, well, there are only 3 of them.
Yeah,
so,
right.
A trilogy is a little bit different than I feel like a series,
Okay, sure.
It's very easy. It's very easy to do a trilogy,
And you're saying there's less room for error, like there wasn't a fourth or fifth.
There's less room for error, okay? I love Scream, but I certainly wouldn't say it's Scream.
What would you say?
Because I've seen Scream 4.
Yeah, right. But
actually, no, Scream 5. Scream 4 is good.
Scream 5 is the worst. Is the worst.
Abysmal.
Scream 4, the ending makes no sense, but up until then, it's great.
Yeah. I would say it's Mission Impossible.
Oh, okay. But like, aren't there a couple of those that aren't that good? Like Mission
Only
Impossible
3.
2, babe.
Only Mission Impossible 3.
Oh, which I haven't seen. Who's in that one?
Oh wait, or 2, whichever one John Woo did.
Yeah, I think that's 2, right?
That was 2. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
right,
not
right,
great.
right. That like late 90s. Yeah.
Otherwise, I think it's pretty flawless.
I will say, I mean,
Tom
like,
Cruise doesn't make mistakes.
true. And Vanessa Kirby is just, she's got that Rosamund Pike thing of like, oh, you looked at me and I realized I'm with the craziest single person who ever lived. Something's up with you.
Julie Delpy, you know what we kind of need? We need one of those like book club kind of movies, but for the French bitches.
Oh, sure. You want to put all the French actresses in one?
Juliet,
Yes.
Isabelle, like
Charlotte Rampling kind of French, people like that.
yeah. Catherine's not invited.
Yeah. Because she did. Wait, is this because of Indochine?
They probably just don't like her.
Oh, yeah. You never know. I mean, like with French actresses, I don't want to get too deep into the interviews. I feel like they'll say the wrong thing, you know?
Yeah. But no, let's get all the French ladies together for something.
That would be lovely. Yes, I concur. Le Livre Club or whatever. It's been ages since I took French. I'm so sorry, Madame Marcoli.
Le Pain à Chocolat Club.
Oh my God, did Chocolat suck? I cannot believe that is Juliette Binoche's
Wow, you hate
only
Chocolat?
fucking Best Actress nomination. Of all the things in the world to make her, a chocolatier is not what I wanted.
Okay. I mean, I think it's so sexy.
Maybe to Harvey, not to me.
The rabbit?
No, this has nothing to do with Mr. Jimmy Stewart.
All right. Well, that's our episode this week.
Oh my God, thank you to Marseille Martin for being here. What a delight. I would have her back
Yes.
most weeks.
And G20 is very fun.
Yeah, totally fun. Exactly the movie that should be coming out this time of year, too. Like, gives you something good to see, and Viola is perturbed as fuck.
I know. In an interview, she was like, I can't do Oscar bait all the time.
Dang, we love to hear it. Yeah.
She wants a check.
Yeah. And Tonys don't pay the bills, you know what I'm saying?
They certainly do not. Otherwise, Whoopi Goldberg, she'd own a mansion.
Right. And as you know, she... What do we think? She's poor? What was your...
She lives at the View.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I see. She's just in the studio. Got it.
Yeah. All right. We will see you next week.